Hello fellow introverts and welcome back to the channel. Have you ever misremembered anything? Or seen something that just didn't quite make sense? You are a victim of the Mandela Effect. Now, what is the Mandela Effect? As the name would imply, it is an effect named after the great Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa, and a key figure in the anti-apartheid movement. The phenomena's name, as you can imagine, originated from the collective false memory that some people share, believing that Nelson Mandela, in fact, died in prison during the 1980s. In reality, they would have us believe that Mandela was released from prison in the 1990s and went on to become South Africa's first black president in 1994. The term Mandela Effect was coined to describe the broader phenomenon of collective misremembering or false memories that extends beyond the specific Mandela example. Now, I don't necessarily agree with this, okay? I will tell you that this video is going to take a couple liberties, shall we say. A couple leaps, and perhaps maybe it'll make sense. Maybe this won't go out to anybody, or it will label me as a lunatic. I don't know, man. Now, a great example of the Mandela Effect is, in fact, the great quote from the historical space document Star Wars, where one Mr. Darth Vader allegedly says, "Luke, I am your father." But in fact, that is not exactly what is said. What is said is, "Do you know what happened to your father?" Which Luke replies, "You killed him." And he goes, "No, I am your father." And then everybody lived happily ever after. Also, another example is the Monopoly guy. Obviously, we know the little guy who sits up top of the Monopoly board, you know, the old man with the beard goatee, top hat, and you may or may not remember him wearing a monocle. I remember him wearing a monocle, but apparently he doesn't. Another is Febreze. Not the scent or the brand or anything like that, but the actual spelling of the word. People often think that the air freshener is spelled F-E-B-R-E-E-Z-E instead of the correct F-E-B-R-E-Z-E. Now, how could an entire group or just subsects of the entire population, there's a lot of people in the world, how can an entire collective group, sometimes a generation, misremember the same thing? You don't know how bad I wanted to say aliens right there. Now, this is where we get a little reachy, shall we say. So, if you're familiar with the search for the Higgs boson particle, now that is allegedly referred to as the God particle, shall we say, and we are currently looking for that through the use of things called hadron colliders, right? So what they do essentially is grab particles and slam them into each other and see what happens. So, particles are often protons. In the case of the hadron colliders, are accelerated to nearly the speed of light using powerful magnets and electrical fields, right? Now, along the circular paths, radio frequency cavities provide additional energy to the particles as they pass through. This helps boost their speed and energy, okay? The accelerated particles are then made to collide with each other at the designated collision points within the collider. The collision points are where detectors are placed to observe and record the results of the collisions. Sophisticated detectors surround the collision points to measure and record the various particles produced by the collision. These detectors can track charged particles, measure their energies, and identify different types of particles. The data collected from these collisions are analyzed by scientists to understand the fundamental properties of particles and the forces that govern their interactions. This can lead to discoveries of new particles or insights into the fundamental nature of matter. Now, why does that matter? Why would I be linking these two? Okay, so to run a hadron collider, you need pulses of great amounts of energy. You know, energy enough to run small cities, right? So why is that important? So from here, we make the logical next leap to the Einstein-Rosen bridge theory, which string theory or the theory of wormholes, right? So if we take energy, or matter in this case, and we smash it together, Einstein tells us that you cannot create or destroy matter, right? It just merely changes shape. So in this case, if they are smashing charged protons together and they're recording what happens, there's been records of minuscule black holes, right? So black holes, now with the Einstein-Rosen theory, they have the theoretical models propose that wormholes may be associated with black holes, and they could potentially connect different regions of the universe or even different universes, if that is something that you believe in. But for whatever reason, now this is saying that the Einstein-Rosen bridges are, again, hypothetical tunnels connecting two separate points in spacetime, creating a bridge or shortcut between them, often visualized as a tunnel with two ends and located in different points in spacetime. So you see it's wrapped around each other and it kind of looks like an inverted funnel, one on either time. So theoretically, if this is a wormhole, i.e. a black hole, something that was created in the Hadron Collider, it could be shifting us ever so slightly. Not big enough to move us, but there are multiple Hadron Colliders across the world, right? So we all know the big one called CERN, which is in France and Switzerland. It's so big, it's underground. But you think there's one. There's actually 9 smaller colliders that make up that facility. There's also 2 in the United States, 1 in Japan. I think there's like 11 total. I don't know, I have to check on that. But, so, they're saying that mathematically, the concept of wormholes is mathematically consistent with the framework of general relativity, their actual existence remains purely theoretical. No direct observational evidence or experimental confirmation of wormholes has been achieved that we know of. Now, we can see them from Earth. What we potentially could be is just the lack of color or light or whatever with a event horizon around it. So we speculate that that is in fact a black hole. Nobody really knows how they work, right? So could we, again, be messing with things that we don't understand, like creating little black holes to skip us through realities and merge them back and forth? I mean, I guess it is plausible. Am I the one that's going to simultaneously solve this? Probably not. I mean, it'd be nice, but then everybody would just call me crazy. I'm not crazy. It does seem odd that we get these new fads and things that just kind of show up. And if you search, albeit just on the internet, a quick Google search, if you really look into it, there are certain things that you can't really explain the origin from, or they can't be traced. So that would imply that they've been there from the beginning. But how could that be if they just popped up, right? So the merging of two realities is just a plausible idea as other people thinking that they just made them up. So again, next time you see something or you misremember something or something doesn't look quite right to you, it's not you guys. It is, in fact, us just slipping between realities and merging with another timeline. No big deal. And with that existential crisis averted, I will talk to you nerds later.